Okay. So yeah, as Greta said, it's last webinar this year. We will this time we will cover new map types. We called it hybrid maps. We will cover a new object class that we added in 5.1, which is a circuit object. We will talk about possibility of manually defining peer information on interface objects and how to do it from an XSL as well. And we also briefly cover the new comments functionality. You can now use Markdown for writing object comments. And of course, we will have recording afterwards. So if you miss the online, you will be able to see everything in the recording on YouTube soon after. Okay, so let's start with hybrid maps. I will switch off my camera and share my screen, and we'll go through it. Okay, so you should be seeing my screen now. Let's briefly remember what we have for automatic maps. So you can build automatic maps in NetXMS based on layer 2 topology and based on IP topology. So here, for example, I have a map of one of test networks built based on layer 2 topology. So you see we have a bunch of routers connected together via network interfaces. Then we have another map of another network. Again, layer 2 information, some switches, and the routers connected together. What is interesting for us here is this, the wall. It's our router and firewall here. And we have IP network. When you see the IP level topology, and it's a different view, so you don't see how switches are connected together. You see the IP subnets and so on. Sometimes you have a lot of, let's say, remote networks or remote locations where you have layer 2 connectivity displayed, and they may be connected together via some sort of VPN tunnels or MPLS tunnels or something you do not have control over. So you cannot build the big map with the layer 2 topology of all your locations connected together. And this is when hybrid maps can help you. Let's create a hybrid map. So we go to the network map for creation as usual, and in the map type we choose the hybrid topology map. Let's select at least one seed node. Let's start with R1, and we got our hybrid map. It will be populated soon. Yeah, you see, basically we have one location layer 2 map as usual. Then we can go and add another seed node. Let's add the switch from another location. So we have two seed nodes now. And let's run map update manually and see what we got. Wow, it's not an expected result. Okay. The problem is that our firewall is actually an considered end node on the layer 2 map. So we should not forget to go to map options and include end nodes, because it's a firewall that links those two sites together. So let's add end nodes to the picture and run map update again. And you see, now we got both allocations connected. So we have a VPN link between one of the routers and the firewall. So this VPN link binds together those two subtrees of layer 2 topology. And this is the concept behind the hybrid maps. So it starts as possibly independent trees of layer 2 connectivity. And then if the server finds the gaps or unconnected subtrees or subgraphs on this hybrid map, it tries to find other connectivity options that can be added to the map to bring them together. But the server will look like is point-to-point IP connection. So it will not connect subtrees if they have objects in the same subnet, for example, because it's not, we decided it may be not that accurate. But if you have a point-to-point IP connection, it will be used. If you have a VPN between two nodes, as in my case, it will be used for connection. And finally, it will include OSPF topology into calculation. So if you have remote locations, you have routers that are talking with each other over OSPF, which will be the case. For example, if you have an MPLS tunnel between locations, then server will use OSPF topology information to be connect those subtrees together. So that could be quite handy for telcos, for ISPs, for everybody who has remote locations that cannot be shown on a single layer 2 map automatically because of the gaps between the locations. So yeah, that's it about hybrid maps. Next, what we want to briefly talk about is a new object class, which is called circuit. It is a little bit related to the first topic. Imagine that you want to build a structure of containers where you put devices related to specific service or specific customer or specific location, just to see the status and so on. So, for example, I do let's call it clients, and then I create a container called client1. Yeah, and then I can, inside this container, I can bind what is important for this client. So for example, I have a router 11, and maybe router 10. Yeah, that are really one for this client. So if something happens with the router, I will see it on the container level and so on. I can script, create scripts around it, and etc. But sometimes you have a situation when you have a client, for example, and you cannot just add a router because maybe it's a core router that has, I don't know, hundreds of the interfaces facing different clients. So you want to represent the situation, but you don't want to add this core router to each client folder, each client group, because it may distort the picture. Maybe with this particular client, everything is fine. And this is where circuit objects can help you. Let's create a circuit object. Let's call it C1. Why not? C1. Idea of circuit object is that you can add one or more interfaces from different devices to the circuit to represent the actual connection between devices. So let's add interfaces. Let's go to our routers, open R1, open R2. And now I have added two interfaces to the circuit. It has the similar interfaces view as a normal node, with the exception that it also provides the name of the node this particular interface belongs to. And the rest is just your standard interface view with all the information. The status of the circuit object will be changing when the interface state changes. In addition to that, you can also set up a data collection on the circuit level, pretty much like you do on the node level. So you can even collect information here. Of course, it will not be the node related stuff, so you will either have to set source node, or you should use scripting or internal DCI, but still you will have data collection right here on the circuit level. You will have alarms, and because when interface goes down or interface goes up, it will generate event on the node level where interface belongs, but also it will generate additional events on each circuit this interface participates in. So you can have a separate, independent handling of the events. So this simplifies, for example, notification. If you want to have notification only for certain interfaces, you just use your circuit object in the event processing policy as a source, and then only interfaces in this circuit will be reported, will be firing that particular event processing policy rule. You can also do automatic binding, as you can do with a container. So as with container, you can choose to automatically bind interfaces to this circuit. So let's try to do something like let's bind all far0 interfaces. Okay, let's try. Okay, so we collect a lot of far0 interfaces, far0 something, from all sorts of routers that we have here. Not very practical, but you should get an idea. So very useful feature, we hope, for those who want to represent some logical connectivity between interfaces in the object hierarchy. Okay, so that's it from me on our first two topics, and then Tanya will take over and talk about manual setting peer information and Markdown in comments. Go ahead, Tanya. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Victor. Hi, everyone. Let me try to share my screen. So today I'll cover two topics. Let's maybe start with Markdown syntaxes. So basically, we had a request. What I wanted to show you that it's not yet documented, but we have issue on our issue tracker with Markdown, and here is the link of the library that is used for the Markdown, where you can read about the syntax that is used. But basically, for the testing, I just took the Markdown demo from GitHub and put it into the NetXMS. There are some differences, but basically, like, the basic Markdown just works as it is. So, for example, here you can see that I have the node, and if I will click here. So here you can see that I don't have a comment section. And here I have comment section. Comments, sorry, tab. Comments tab appears only when you have comments for the object. If the comments are empty, this tab is not shown. This tab can be also, comments are visible here. Some preview part. No, I'm sorry, not the preview, the whole part. And the preview part of comment is available here for every object. So basically now we have 3 places where we can see comments on the overview of the object and on the comments page. So here, if I will add here comment, also you can see here now we have a checkbox if we should use Markdown or not. I can, for example, here write something without Markdown, some text, okay. And where do we have these comments? Okay, looks like comments is not added here. Let's try it here. I think it's some, okay. Some tab issues unknown. It's really weird. Okay, let me maybe log in to our system. This one. So here I have comment text and here I have comment tab, and I will look into this issue because it should work. At least on the master it was working. This one should be 5.2, the latest release with the patch releases. Maybe something is broken there. But basically, yes, so we can have 2 types of comments. We can have Markdown comments and just simple text. Here I have Markdown. As you can see, we have headers. We can style text with italic bold. We have block quotes. We have ordered and unordered lists. Code snippets, tables, links on which I can, okay. So this one I have not formatted correctly. We can change it now. Comments, link, okay. Links. Yeah, so now I have 2 different links. I have images and let me move it. And I have tasks. In the very end, I cannot complete them here, but I can show in Markdown that this task is completed and that task is not, like here. So basically, that's all that you should know about Markdown. I know that a lot of our users use the system to heavily document the infrastructure, some tasks and stuff like that. So it's another option to make it in the beautiful way with the links, with the images, and with other things. So second thing that I wanted to show you, let's move here. is option to add peer or to clear peer. So usually when we have LLDP and CDP enabled, we can get peer information from the devices, but sometimes it's not possible, and sometimes we want either to manually select peer for the interface or clear it. So it's possible from two different views. One option is here. You can set peer and clear peer. Now I have peer that I've set with hands. Let's clear it. What I wanted to show, topology. Now in topology, we have link layer topology, 0 connections found. And if we will, second option is from here, we can set here peer, the same as clearing peer. And I will, for example, use this interface. You can see that it's displayed here. It will be also displayed in this table. Here we have it. If I will do the poll topology, so this manually entered information is added to the topology information. This means that by adding this peer information like this by hands, you will be able to see it on the topology layer 2 maps. So basically, I know that those two nodes are not connected, but as I don't retrieve any information about peers, so peer information won't be updated automatically, I manually can set these things. So sometimes, like part of information can be retrieved and part might not. In this case as well, you can set this peer, and if we can't find information about this peer in automatic tables, we won't update it. But if we will find information from some other node that it has connection to this interface, then for sure this manually entered data will be removed, because we have real-time automatically retrieved data. So basically, that's all that I wanted to show. Maybe we have some questions. Maybe Victor wants to add something.
No, I think it's perfect.
We don't have questions at the moment. Last time I had a lot, so this time there are no questions. I think everything was super clear. So, okay. I'm trying to think of any other news that we have, and I think at the moment the only thing that we can have that Tanya will be there in February on FOSDEM. So if anyone from you is there, we'll be happy to meet. And otherwise, please reach out to us, and we are always happy to answer your questions. And the video will be later on published on YouTube. And having said that, have a really nice holiday season, and see you guys next year. Bye.
Okay. See you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.